Good morning, everyone. So today is Brush Festival, Fude Matsuri in Kumano, Hiroshima, and I am on my way there. So for this year, I have decided to take a different route. Usually, I would have to go to Hiroshima Station, and from there, I would take the train and I would take the bus. But I have realized this year that me going to Hiroshima from where I am staying is actually quite far, and it would entail 3 transfers for me. So what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm just going to be taking the bus, which will bring me straight to Kumano from where I am today. So let's start our journey. From Showamachi bus stop, I am going to be taking the 41-3 bus, which is bound for Miyagasako-Danchi-iriguchi. The fare is going to cost me around 640 yen, and it will roughly take me 37 minutes to get from where I am to Kumano Eigyosho. So I will actually begin my Fude Matsuri journey there. Now, if you do decide to take the train from Hiroshima Station all the way to Yano Station, do know that you have to take the bus from Yano Station to get yourself to the grounds of Fude Matsuri. Now, once you get to Yano Station, this is the same bus number that you'll need to take to get yourself there. Now, I have to say that this is actually the first time that I am taking the bus from Hiroshima City all the way to Kumano, and I have to say it's actually a very scenic bus ride. I actually love it, and mind you, it's also very comfortable because I am sitting down the entire time and I don't need to transfer. As I said earlier, if I take the train, it's gonna entail me to transfer 3 times, especially from where I'm living at Hiroshima City. But take a look at that. I didn't really realize that Hiroshima is a port city up until I actually saw this waterscape here in front of me. It's actually a very beautiful ride. I love it. So I am now in Kumano Eigyosho bus stop, and apparently this year, or maybe I don't know, the next succeeding years, there will be no bus services to Fudenosato Kobo or to the Brush Festival. So this means I'm going to be walking, or I'm going to be looking for a different bus depot to bring me to the Brush Museum. But before I go, where was that? Okay, so if you walk this part here, and if we just cross the street, and turn into this corner here, if my memory serves me right, you will find the brush company named Koyudo here. So let me just flip my camera over. So there it is, Koyudo. So I'm gonna pull up Google Maps here so that you guys can see it. So it's practically directly in front of Kumano Eigyosho. So just cross the main road and you're already there. Okay, so that's Koyudo over there. So well, I'm not sure if they're open, but maybe they are. But I'm not going inside there right now because I want to go to the festival grounds already. So I have to find my way there. But if all else fails, walking is the way to go. Okay, so I have just backtracked from where I actually came from, and I am now directly across Kumano Eigyosho Station, and I am actually on the main road here right now. Okay, so walking is the key, and I hope you guys can hear me over the traffic. Let me just show you guys one other brush company here behind me, and this is the brush company Hokodo. So Hokodo is actually located 400 meters north of Koyudo, so it's actually very easy to get here, like around 6 minutes by foot. And one thing though that I have to say is that this brush company has a lot of calligraphy brushes and makeup brushes, and I'm sure you guys can see that here right now, but I'm not going to go inside because there's nobody manning the store and I don't want to cause suspicion. So if you're interested to see makeup brushes from Hokodo, I believe there are some for sale at fudebeauty.com. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk to the general direction of Fudenosato Kobo, and I'm just going to follow the main road here, and when I get to a fork in the road, I'm going to turn left, and then I'm going to follow that road until I reach a crossing wherein I'm going to turn left again, and I'm going to walk towards the general direction of the Brush Museum. Now this takes 27 minutes, so it's going to be quite a walk to get here. Okay, so we have now reached the fork in the road, and we have the sign here of Fudenosato Kobo. So let's turn left and walk forward. This is how the manhole covers look like here. So there are brush designs on it. Isn't that so amazing? But anywho, let's continue with our walk and journey. And at the very corner there of the road, you can actually see the sign for Fudenosato Kobo. So I hope that zoom will work. But I'm going to take a slight detour because I want to go through Chikuhodo first before we go to the Brush Museum, okay? Alright, so I'm going to pull up Google Maps again so that we can have an idea of where we basically are in this town. So I'm going to add Chikuhodo as another destination, and hang on, let me move this upward so it becomes our second destination. So we are actually now here, wherein if we turn left, it's going to bring us all the way to the Brush Museum. So what I want to do is actually to go straight. So I'm going to remove the Brush Museum as a destination, and we can see that if we just go straight and turn left, we are going to arrive in Chikuhodo. Okay, and we are now in one of my favorite Kumano Fude brushes, Chikuhodo. So let's just go through this alleyway. And that's actually their building over there. Okay. That's their signage. Sumimasen. Sugoi desu ne. Kirei desu ne. Okay guys, so we are now at the Chikuhodo head office here in Kumano, Hiroshima. And as you guys can see, every single brush that they make is on display here. So you have some from the Maki series, you have some from the Passion series, you have some from the regular series, like, you know, and you even have, like, you know, brush sets here, things like that. And you can also see the sign here that it's 30% off, which is very rare, and this only happens during Fude Matsuri. So again, in the future, if you want to come during Fude Matsuri to avail of this discount. Okay, so now that I have had my fill at Chikuhodo, it's time for me to head to Fudenosato Kobo, and I'm just plotting my route here on Google Maps, and I'm just changing my route a bit because I want to show you guys the route that I usually take to get there. And I'm very familiar with this route, that's why I don't want to stray from it because I don't want to get lost. Now, I really like to visit Fudenosato Kobo first before the festival grounds because this really just helps me get into the mood. Okay, so I am now in the Brush Museum, and this is how it looks like from this vantage point. So let's cross over there. And let's see what's inside. Okay, the Brush Museum. Okay, let's go inside. Okay, so we're now at the main entrance of the museum, and directly to my right, just after the entrance doors, is Kumano Fude Select Shop. So this is actually a shop that sells a lot of brushes that are made in Kumano, Hiroshima, Japan. So if a brush company is not based in Kumano, their brushes are not for sale here. So there are makeup brushes here, there are calligraphy brushes, brushes for painting, brushes used for bathing, and even brushes used to paint onto kimono. So it's actually that amazing. Now I know it can get overwhelming already because we're just starting the tour of the shop and we're seeing so many brushes, so it can get quite overwhelming, but hang in there, okay? Now, by the way, I have to say I love how bright and airy it is here because it just adds a very nice positive, like, you know, attitude when you are shopping here. Now, these are calligraphy brushes with painting brushes, and directly behind me is a makeup brush case display, and we can see brushes from Chikuhodo here. So we have some from the FO series. I think this is from the Z series. maybe. And if you have a very sharp eye, I'm sure you would have seen some brushes from the Passion series. Now these are from Mizuho right now, from their Shakuda line, and they actually look amazing. And they are actually on my to buy list, but they are not like, on the very top of it. So maybe in the future, I'm gonna get some. Now these brushes, by the way, are made of feathers, and this white one is actually calling my name. Now here in the shop, there are actually calligrapher brushes that are like, very big, and I'm actually tempted to buy one just to place in my home because they're a very nice conversation piece because of the size, if you know what I mean. Now if we just turn into this side here, there are more makeup brushes on display here. So there are brushes from Tanseido here. And there are also some brushes from Kumano Fude Select, because Kumano Fude Select also has their own brush range that they sell to people. Okay, so at this point, let's proceed and explore the brushes on display at the museum. And the first thing that you will see as soon as you hit the basement is actually one of the biggest brushes that you will ever see in your life, and it looks amazing. Look at that. Okay, so let's explore the museum together. So just to put things in perspective, most of the displays you'll see here at the Brush Museum, well 99%, is related to calligraphy brushes, because after all, calligraphy brushes were the life and blood of Kumano, Hiroshima. So there are a ton of ancient brushes on display here, and I do believe they even have the oldest calligraphy brush in their collection, which I think is so cool, because after all, the museum is collecting a lot of brushes that is related to the history of brush culture. And I find that so amazing, because I believe they're even trying to find the origin of kanji and its relation to brushes. How cool is that? So anyway, there's actually a display here of different types of hairs used in brushes, and I love the fact that you can actually touch it with your own hand. So it just gives you a very different kind of sensation and appreciation of these different types of hairs. And I also love that if you actually open the drawers here under the display, you'll be actually able to see the different types of penmanship, quote unquote. A specific brush with a different type of hair will actually deliver on a piece of paper, and I find that so cool. So what we see here right now are displays of the makeup brushes that are made here in Kumano, Hiroshima, Japan. Isn't that so cool? So we have very traditional makeup brushes and even quite modern. And then on the other side, we have even more calligraphy brushes. Look how beautiful they are and how amazing they actually look. They look so pretty. I actually want to have this in my home, one collection of calligraphy brushes. Ooh, one other thing, by the way, they have an ancient makeup kit here, and it looks so beautiful. Look at that. And they even have double-ended makeup brushes here. How cool is that? Imagine, I believe this has been around during the Edo period, so around the late 1800s, so it has been around for more than a century. How cool is that? Okay, so right now I'm gonna enter this room here because they actually have an amazing display of calligraphy brushes, and you guys just have to see this so that you'll understand why some makeup brushes with very delicate or very intricate handles are actually made. So as you guys can see here, if I just go to this side, some of the handles on these brushes are actually made from carved stone. Isn't that so beautiful? And I'm sure this one is made of jade. How amazing is that? So these things, when you have very expensive makeup brushes, because the handles are made from an artisan, it is not a new thing. I believe they have doing this for a very long time. Now at this part of the museum, they have something that's called the 16 phases of makeup, but I don't think it's makeup related, because as I have been coming back to the museum for years, I keep on scratching my head. What do they mean by 16 phases of makeup? But I believe it just shows you the aging process of a person, because the topmost mask here on the right side is actually very youthful looking, and then when you go to the very bottom mask on the left hand side of the display, it actually shows you a very old person. So I believe it's just showing you the aging process, and I still find that very interesting, by the way. Now, anywho, so if we turn to the left here, you will actually see a display here of makeup brushes that caters to a specific part of the face. So you have, like, brushes here that's used for the face. You have a brush here for blushes, eyes, lips, eyebrows, etc., etc. By the way, if you decide to come here in the future, make sure that you don't forget to check out the studios where the calligraphy masters are working, because it's a very eye-opening experience. And also, one other thing, you can actually pay to create your own calligraphy brush here, and I believe that's a very nice cultural experience. And those are the things that we see here on the table. So these are the materials you need to make one calligraphy brush. You have glue here, you have strings, and you even have a brush comb. So that's going to be a very nice activity, especially if you're coming with your kids. Now, the other things on display here, well, you have different types of hairs used on brushes, and then you can see the different methods on how to actually create a calligraphy brush. And this here is actually a setup of how a calligraphy master actually works in this studio. Okay, so that's what you will see inside the brush museum, and right now it's a little bit after noon and it is time for some lunch, and I am on my way to the festival grounds to find some sustenance. So what I actually did is I exited the museum, went around to the back, and I am now here about to walk through this, like, small country road, because this will lead me down to the festival grounds. So come and walk with me as we head there. Okay, so now that I am stuffed and full of energy, it's time for me to head to the festival grounds. And I always like to go through the school grounds to get here and to make sure that I am in this street, because this street actually leads to a much more better entrance into the festival grounds. And we'll get there in a little bit. So as you guys can see, there are now brush makers on the left and on the right hand side of the road, and they're selling their brushes, and I can't wait to check them out later. So as you guys can see here in front of us, this is the Torre, or the gate, and we can see it is festooned with a lot of brushes. How cool is that? Every year it is the same set of brushes and it is the same arrangement. It's actually so amazing. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go through the gate and we're going to walk under these brushes. Okay, so this is now the brush market, as you guys can see here. And there are a lot of makeup companies that sell brushes here, like, calligraphy brushes again, and, painting brushes, even makeup brushes, as you guys can see here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk further now and go up these stairs. And then we are going to reach another torii, or another gate, which is festooned with these brushes. And we're gonna go under it as usual in a ceremony kind of a thing. And then I'm gonna head to the right, because there are actually tables here wherein there are brushes where you can just pick one or two or three, as much as you want, because you are actually going to ceremoniously burn them in the mound, which is actually found over there. Because, in Japanese, they believe that everything has a soul, and this ceremonial burning of brushes is actually a way of thanking them for their service, and it's just making sure that they're going to make their way to heaven. So what they call this is actually the Fudezuka, or the burning tombstone of brushes. Okay, so I'm gonna go up now, make my way to Sakakiyama Shrine. So I'm just gonna turn around and to show you guys that we actually came from there, and we're gonna be walking upwards and heading to the top of the stairs, because we are now in the general area of Sakakiyama Shrine. I'm actually quite surprised to be hearing this drum beat right now, because the last time I was here, I didn't hear these drum beats at all. So this is actually quite interesting. So I'm just gonna walk further and get closer into what I believe looks like a stage. Oh, and there's actually a kagura performance going on right now. So I think this is the performance that usually happens on the eve of the brush festival, and I have been wanting to see that for years now. But every time I come here, pre-pandemic, this event gets canceled because there's always a storm the night before the brush festival. So I'm actually so happy to be able to see this now, because this kind of completes my Fude Matsuri experience. Okay, so I made my way to the side of the stage, and I have to say that I love hearing the beats of the drum. So, it's so primordial. I love it. And I can see that the townsfolk are also enjoying the show. Okay, so right now I am near the shrine, and I'm going to go inside because I'm going to ask for blessings from the brush deities to guide me along my journey in this earth. Okay, so now that I feel that I am blessed by the brush deities, I'm gonna make my way back down again because I can already hear the flute playing, which means that the calligraphy performance has already started. So isn't it amazing, by the way, to see all of these brushes festooned here on the side, and it's just guiding your way down the stairs. It's actually so beautiful. So anyways, so every year there is always a calligraphy master who writes poetry on this very big piece of canvas. And while the calligraphy master is actually doing this, there is a master flutist who kind of follows his movements and create music using his flute. Isn't that so amazing? Look at that. So it's just following the rhythm of the calligraphy master as he writes on this very big canvas. Okay, so at this point, the master calligrapher is already finished writing his poetry, and I think he's just going to stamp his seal now onto the canvas. Can you hear the music from the flute? It's so amazing. Every single movement is actually followed. Amazing. So there is actually a lull in activities after the calligraphy program, mainly because the Kumano Foodie Cooperative is preparing for the next event. So let me take this opportunity to talk about Hakuhodo, because Hakuhodo is actually 21 minutes away by foot from where I am today, which is Sakakiyama Shrine. But they don't have a presence at Fude Matsuri, mainly because Hakuhodo is not part of the Kumano Foodie Cooperative. So they're also closed today because it's a Saturday, but at the time that you come, just pray to God that Fude Matsuri is on a weekday so you can go visit. Now the other brush company which is close to where I am right now is actually Mizuho, and it's a 15-minute walk from Sakakiyama Shrine. So if you're interested, do check them out when you're here because their products are actually very, very good. Okay, so now let's explore the brushes that are for sale here at Sakakiyama Shrine. Okay, so I was actually busy buying brushes when I got snapped out of my reverie because I got distracted by the music. And when I followed the crowd, I actually saw that the float has already arrived, and this is called the Higan Bune, and it's actually making its way up to Sakakiyama Shrine, and this means that the final event of the day is about to start. So let's go make our way to Sakakiyama Shrine and see what is going to happen. Okay, so we are now at Sakakiyama Shrine, and of all the years that I have come here and watched this, they always start these festivities this way, wherein they actually rock the boat for a few minutes. And I really don't know what's the meaning behind this because, like, language barrier. But the word higan in the word higanfune means like the other shore. So I think in Buddhism, this would mean that the boat is bringing I think like all of their wishes across the shore to the other side, which means to the spiritual realm, wherein it's going to elevate their wishes and just make it all come true. So I might be wrong, but that's how I understand it. Okay, so right now, as you guys can see, they are actually pushing the rudder here at the front of the boat onto the sand here, and they're actually creating a mark on the sand. So it's actually a circular, mark on the sand. So right now, they're rocking the boat again. And there's actually someone on top of the boat there, calling out commands to these kids who are actually trying to rock the boat and to create the mark on the sand. It's actually so funny sometimes because sometimes one of these kids get left behind when they're actually pushing the rudder around. So I think they're about to push it one more time. So there you go, they're about to start. Now I think this is very important because the mark that you would see on the sand here is where the dancers are going to line up and dance around this boat. Okay, a round of applause. So I think they're very happy with the mark made by the boat. Okay, and then after a few minutes, they're gonna start dancing now. Okay, and I find it very endearing because when the dancing starts, these high school boys, they take a while to warm up and they're always kidding and chiding each other. So it's actually very funny to watch them because that's how kids usually are. And also one other thing, if you look close enough, the things that they're holding on their hands while they're dancing are actually brushes as well. Isn't that so cool? Okay, so there are actually two types of dances. So this is the first dance that they usually do. And not everybody who's dancing, by the way, holds a brush. Others are just their hands are free. So that's what you'll hear when they're actually clapping. And also one other thing, by the way, I always notice that there are exchange students here from America, and I could see them dancing together with the other high school kids as well. So I think that's very immersive, and I think that's a very nice cultural experience as well. Oh, and one thing, by the way, if in the future you would like to learn how to dance, observe the older ladies here because I think these are the ladies who actually teach the dance to the youngsters here. Look at them. They're in the rhythm of the music and they're dancing very elegantly. Oh, it's very nice. I hope to dance with them one day though. That would be a very nice experience for me. Look at them, they're all laughing. Such a joyous occasion. And when the dancing ends, it's about time to give away some goodies. So this is how they usually end the festivities, wherein they toss some things into the crowd. And I really wanted to join this year because I wanted to get some good luck mochi because those are one of the things that they toss from the boat. So let me join into the fiasco. Alright everyone, so that kind of like ends my journey here at Fude Matsuri. I enjoyed it immensely. It's nice to be back after 3 years. And of course, I saw Sonia G, by the way, so I didn't get any video or something, but I did post a picture of us on my Instagram page, so you might have seen that already. Alright, so right now I'm walking back to Kumano Eigyosho Station because that's where I'm going to take a bus back to Hiroshima. Although I could actually take a bus near here, but I prefer to walk right now. So just to bring down my energy from the excitement and just to enjoy the scenery here around this area of Kumano. So yeah, so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog of mine, and if you have any questions about my experience here in this year's Fude Matsuri, please let me know down in the comments box and let's have a conversation about it. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna let you guys go now because there's a kid screaming over there and he might overpower the audio. All right, so thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye. Brush haul coming soon.